Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean. Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on the Powerhouse radio station are those of the host, guests, and callers, are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other hosts or advertisers. The show, found on the Powerhouse radio station, can promote any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or conditions. Opinions stated by various contributors to the Powerhouse Radio and its programming are not to be considered as endorsed by the Powerhouse Radio station. Visitors are urged to use their own discernment to draw their own conclusion. We emphasize the importance of keeping an open mind.
Victorious 89.1 WAKP.
Your unity is listen to the sounds of DJ 440 in your ear right now. If you're in your car, if you're at home, if you're on your phone, let's gripe, baby.
Driving home and you're feeling kind of tired. Hey, radio play the same thing every day, so you need a little switch in your life. Traffic got you jammed up every night. Tune in to Powerhouse. Wednesday 7 to 9, you need to check them out. I promise I ain't trying to hype, but one good listen tonight, it might change your life. So what's the name of the show? You need something to just ride to on the go. Or you might be home, so log on. You can even dial in on your phone. I promise that you're gonna love it. Just try it one time, it'll blow your mind. Now I'ma say it just one more time. Every Wednesday from 7 to 9.
Let's gripe. Let's gripe. Let's gripe. Let's gripe. Let's gripe. Let's gripe.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Happy Wednesday. It is May the 11th, 2022. Okay, so we say this every week. May 11th today. It's just moving on by, y'all. What you plan to do? Tell me what we plan to do for this year that is moving very fast. Do we got our plans together?
It's too late to lose those summer 20, so I'm gonna. It's not too late, MJ. It's not too late.
No. It's not too late.
Okay.
You got a whole month.
A whole month.
A whole month. You got to grind.
Okay.
Well, you know, the name of the show is Let's Gripe at thepowerhouseradio.com and 89.1 FM Victorious Radio. However, I got a gripe tonight. I got a big gripe. It's a real gripe. All the gripes are always real, but this one is a serious gripe, okay? I am 50 years old, and I'm loving it, and I am very grateful that I got to see 50 years. But when I tell you, these folks out here that acting like they going to live forever, or they not going nowhere. I'm sick and tired of them. Okay? I'm sick and tired of them. Okay? I mean, every morning I get up, the first thing I do when I open my eyes and I notice I can move and I can get up out the bed, I'm like, thank you, Father. Thank you for waking me up this morning. Okay. Everybody else, there's other people walking around out here like, hey, I knew I was waking up this morning. I knew I was going this, I was going that. You know, I'm sick and tired of those people. Be grateful. The little petty stuff, put it down. Right. And appreciate the things, the small things, and love on your people. How many times that we got to keep saying that, love on your people? And throwing that in, I have to send my condolences to Heavy Records family. They lost their mother this Mother's Day by a serious accident. And my heart goes out to the family and the friends of Heavy Records. And there are other family out there that are grieving and mourning losses of their loved ones. And again, from thepowerhouseradio.com and Let's Gripe, we send our condolences. So anyone that is definitely lost someone in the last few days, even weeks, even months, even years, our condolences to you and your family. So that's my gripe. Stop acting like your days ain't never gonna come. Be kind. Love one another. Can we keep saying that? Let's Gripe.
Always.
Oh, every day, every week, absolutely. We have to continue to check on ourselves and check on our people because, each day isn't promised. And, we need to live like somebody's going to hold us accountable one day and we're going to have to answer for how we live. And so, it's always appropriate to do the right thing, and it's always appropriate to make changes to become that better version of yourself. So, make that part of your existence. Okay, speaking of gripes, I just have a baby gripe. And my baby gripe is that my power continues to flicker. It's been over 30 minutes now. So within the last 30 minutes, the power has gone out twice. Now, it doesn't stay out long, but it does go out for about 90 seconds or so. And then, it takes about 5 minutes for everything to reboot. So I've had to reset the time on the clock, on the microwave, and the stove twice already. So just the baby gripe. I'm thankful for power. And I'm thankful that it came back up and that food in the refrigerator has not spoiled, because that has happened before where it doesn't come back up for, 4 or 5 hours. So I am thankful for that. But whatever's happening outside, I don't know if this is a baby earthquake or if there's some construction happening nearby. Yes, please resolve the issues so that we don't have to reset the alarm. I'm sorry, the clock on the stove and on the microwave. So just the baby gripe, but other than that, it was a beautiful week. I want to say happy birthday to my grandmother. I had an opportunity, my dad's mom, I had an opportunity to go visit her this weekend. She turned 96, and she was full of life and in great spirits.
Woo, happy birthday, Grandma.
Yeah.
We had a good time. So big ups to Grandma. We over there had some jokes. So yeah, let's say, so the day before yesterday, when I was at her house, I was like, okay, Grandma, what do you want to eat? And she was like, well, tomorrow we're going to go out to eat. I was like, yeah, but that's 24 hours from now. We still have to eat today. Like, we can't skip today because we're going to go out to eat tomorrow. I don't know what it is with the elderly people. Like, they lose their appetite and the food is no longer important. And she was so unbothered about eating today because she was focused on eating tomorrow. But I thought that was we had a nice little laugh on that. I'm like, Grandma, we don't get to skip a day just because we're going out to eat tomorrow. So we're going to figure out something for today.
She was saving up that appetite.
She was.
Like Thanksgiving dinner.
Tomorrow.
She did not want to mess up that going out to get something to eat, okay? She did not want to ruin that, okay? And Grandma get a pass on that, okay?
She got a couple of passes. I mean, at 96, you want to eat cake and a cookie? Okay. That's fine. You got it.
Right.
Well, MG, you got a baby gripe.
No, I think I'm good this week. No gripes for me. I think I'm good this week.
All right, listeners. So last week you tuned in and you heard Marcus. He had a gripe, about getting back in shape, getting in the gym, because he loves food, et cetera, right? So we kind of we gonna help cheer him on or root him on, to get in shape and get back to where he feels that's where he needs to be. But how about the water? Drink a lot of water, okay? But how about the day after? I had encounter a middle-aged man, and guess what, y'all? He had to gripe about his weight too.
Hey, and
he said that his wife, he's been married for, I think it was like maybe 15 years or something like that, and he was like, so I know nobody else gonna want me. So he said he gotta, do right by his wife, make everything right. So I said to him, it's funny you said that. I said, because one of my hosts, we have a radio show, and he was just talking about this last night about his weight. I said, so now you the second man in a row talking. I did not know you. He said, what you think will we be doing? He said, what you think? He said, look, y'all be trying to look good for us all the time. We be on the sideline trying to look good for y'all.
Facts.
So Marcus, I think, it's out there now.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know this was a secret. I didn't know that was a secret, because we always talk about, hey, look, bro, hey, bud, you might need to hit that. We'll tell each other, hey, bud, you might need to hit that gym. What's up? Let's go running. Your boy hit you up like, hey, look, let's go running.
But we hear you guys say, you guys gonna go to the gym with your buddies, or you guys gonna, go, train, train boxing and etc. You even playing basketball, just gonna get a little, play on the court. But we didn't know y'all was something like us. But see, we kind of women kind of go to the extreme though, stop eating and just eating and then throwing it up and all that kind of stuff, starving themselves for 500 years. But we just thought you guys did that just because that was a man thing, a guy thing.
I mean, I think the point that I made a little bit earlier was we see the evidence of it. We see the men going to the gym. We see the men going to the basketball court. We see them doing different drills or, taking the kids out walking them with the bicycles. So we see the evidence of the activity, but we don't hear the gripe or the complaint part. Like women are very vocal about it. And we have little conversations, and, we might talk about it at work or on the phone, or when we go out to brunch while we're eating things that we don't need to eat. But as far as like actually hearing the conversation piece, I think that's the part that is kind of shocking. Like, oh, men talk about weight too. Men gripe about weight as well, and they take it seriously. So I think that's the part that, made it normal. You normalized it for us when you said, yeah, we talk about it. We're concerned about it. We see it too. We see when those, 38s don't fit anymore. Now we're in a 40 or 42.
Yeah.
Like, we see it.
And then also, the older you get, there are health concerns too. That we have to adhere to. And it may take us into our first little subject talking about health concerns too as well. Because like you really never know. For men, like, we also want to be able to, for our woman, wife, or whoever, we also want to be able to how should I put this? To be able to last longer and not, huffing and puffing and all this other stuff inside of the bedroom, because we want to be able to please our woman, we want to be able to do those things too. So it's all of it's connected, man. Like hey, look, and we know. See, what y'all don't hear is that, like, we have a plan. We go to the gym, we work out, we lose weights, we get better shape. Men are always concerned about being in physical shape because that's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be in some type of shape to be strong and whatever have you. But the only way to really get there's no cheat code for it. You know what I mean? Like, you have to diet some kind of way, unless you're in your 20s, and then you can just shake it all off. But for middle age, I guess, so to speak, men, we have to diet correctly. We have to stay a little bit more disciplined than we did in our 20s. So all that stuff is, and all that stuff we have to look up, keto diets and all those other things. We have to adhere to all of that stuff too when we do it, man. So I know for me, just in general, like, this week I've done better. I've stopped eating out so much. I've cooked a little bit more, brought my lunch to work and stuff like that. So that's been a little bit better. Got a little bit more exercise. So just baby steps, but I'm gonna get there though. So and I hope other, if we have some men listeners out there and you just looking down like, look, bro, it's a little pud down there. I could use a few pounds off of it. Hey, look, let go. Let go. You don't even.
So you heard it from Marcus, and that's one thing about what I love about Marcus. Marcus is very transferable, and we have these conversation because a lot of people are afraid to have it, and it's a conversation that we have because it helps each other. There could be someone out there feeling the same way, like, oh man, really? I didn't know that, and etc. So again, Marcus, thank you for riding with us, ladies over here, because we do it and we chop it up and that's what we love about you, Marcus. So thank you so much. But like I said, one day I can't promise I'm gonna run with you, but I probably could walk with you.
Oh, I love to walk. Let's do
it. That's what I'm talking about. Because they say, what they say again, what each one teach one.
Yeah, man.
Well, I think that Let's Gripe should do a 5K walk. There's plenty of them. From April all the way through November, there's a 5K walk for every type of occasion. And so I just think that maybe we should do a pledge where sometime this year, Let's Gripe goes out and does a 5K walk. Now, you have to train for it. You can't just wake up one day and say you're going to go do 5Ks. Like, you do have to practice.
Well, I mean, it depends on what you're doing now. Yeah, when you're running or walking?
I said walk.
Oh, now I'm off the couch with that one.
Walk.
I can do the walking. I'm not going to do the running.
The knees won't let me run, but I can definitely work up to a 5K walk.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right.
That sounds like a plan.
We'll wear our t-shirts and everything.
Right.
We're gonna put something together for the Powerhouse Radio and Victoria's radio at 89.1 with Lady D and Dr. J. We're gonna do something. We're gonna get with the big executives and see, hey, can we go on and do that? Definitely to get our names out there, you guys. So don't forget, if you want to sponsor Let's Gripe, the Powerhouse Radio, don't forget to email us at the Powerhouse Radio at gmail.com or let's gripe at gmail.com so we get those sponsor packages out to you guys. But okay, so where do we want to start? We was in the health part of it. What about this Kevin Samuels?
Right. Well, I mean, I listened to Brother Kevin Samuels. And, his delivery was a little harsh at times, but some of the stuff he said was in truth for men. Now it may have rubbed women the wrong way. But a lot of it was in truth of how men will, really look at things sometimes. Not all the time, but some of the things that he was saying. But I guess the surprise was coming in where people were like celebrating and laughing like the Wicked Witch of the West type of, for someone's death. I just, I guess I wouldn't expect anything less from people on social media though. That's just where we are right now.
Well, I would definitely not celebrate anyone's death. That's someone's loved one, someone, friend, someone, father, brother, cousin, son. But I would never, it doesn't matter, even if it's someone that has done cruel things to me, I would never celebrate someone's death. I didn't listen to his YouTubes or anything like that, any of his podcasts or anything, but just from hearing before he passed, just hearing some of the things that he said, very interesting. I hear men and I hear some women would say it's the truth and some women can't handle it. We gotta have to talk about that because one of the comments he said that, a lot of us women are leftovers. How we become leftovers? Because we let y'all men talk in our ears and tell us all this lies and foolishness. And then we get set up and then we just decide, okay, I'm gonna be your woman and I'm gonna be your children's parents, et cetera, et cetera. So how you can be left over? You want to be left over if you give somebody something to eat and they don't want no more. I'm just saying, but that's another topic. I know McKenna's face is like, I'm just saying. But regardless of what, if we didn't like what he said or how he said it, again, definitely would not celebrate someone dying. And especially from what I was hearing and reading that he did have cancer twice. It came back and he had it twice, or he still had cancer. I'm not sure if he was in remission. So he was already sick. So he should not have been the way he was. Again, everybody is who they are. A lot of people, especially in the media aspect or the entertainment world, some of their behavior is just for entertainment. And behind closed door, they just either the sweetest pie, but they act like they, So I really don't believe what I see in a lot of times. Even like the sweetest one in the camera, they probably the evilest person there is, because you look at some people, you're like, oh, this is the prettiest person in the world. And how about she can't keep a man? And I'm like, she must be a witch behind closed doors. So we can't judge people by what we see. As far as entertainment wise. So definitely won't say he was a certain type of person. Don't know him, so can't. But again, condolences to him and his family and friends. But again, they're saying that he had chest pains. So apparently, if they do release the autopsy, it probably has something to do with the heart. They did say that he took someone home the night before. So it looked like he was maybe because you think about it, like you said, Marcus, earlier, like as far as when you get a certain kind of size or whatever, you want to last longer. Maybe the blue pills, you never know. It could probably be that he took some kind of enhancement, and it was just not
right
for his heart. We don't know, but that's what it sounds like. He had a heart attack. So the thing is, did he take some enhancement to kind of please this person or not? Who knows? But we gotta get checked out. We gotta get checked out. I hear this every day from everyone. If you feel some kind of way, you get certain type of pain, you know your body, and when your body start hurting, it's telling you something. So get checked. That I think that's the most important thing we have to talk about is we getting checked. Sometimes we try to doctor it, but if it's not working in the 1 or 2 days, we need to go to the doctor. So McKenna, I saw that you wanted to. Go ahead.
The only thing I was going to add is it's a really sad indictment to see how many people were pleased or satisfied that that person passed away. It's really disheartening, and it says a lot about our culture. When people disagree with us, we want them gone. But people are supposed to disagree. That's why we're different. We have different personalities. We have different cultures. We like different foods. We have different tastes in music. We like different wines. There are lots of things that we have opinions and choices about. And apparently, America is principled on, these freedoms, the freedom of expression, the freedom of the opportunity to express yourself, whether it's in writing, or in voice or on radio or in television. And so when somebody disagrees with you, it does take a mature person to be able to continue a conversation with someone who disagrees or remove yourself from that conversation. But to celebrate in that person's demise, not only is it immature and disrespectful, it really shines a flashlight on what American culture looks like today and what values we have. We're ready to tear down democracy because we felt like our person didn't win. And so now we're going to spread vicious lies to say that this whole electoral election process doesn't work. Well, it did work as designed. You just didn't like the outcome. Or a person has comments about women or men that differ from yours. Even the topic, of Roe versus Wade being overturned, these conversations are in the process of dividing families. And banning free speech and conversation about it in certain levels in certain schools. And so we have to be very careful about when we trample on the basic liberties that this country was founded on. Because what it does is it puts us in a space where more and more rights can be taken from us. Because when we aren't mature enough to have conversations where we have differences of opinion and still respect the person as a person, maybe not their opinion, maybe not their lifestyle, but just them being a human being and saying, okay, well, this person is a person, they have an opportunity to differ from me, and I can make a decision to patronize them or not, to listen to them or not, to vote for them or not, but to seek enjoyment for that person being gone. It's not the America that I want us to continue to thrive in.
These is facts, and it's interesting and crazy too, because he didn't like. I know people focus on what he said to women, but he also did the same thing to men too on the show. But people take snippets from it and say, the women are all uproar. How dare you talk about women like that? You must hate women. No, he just giving it to you from what his opinion of what's real. Like he talked to one guy. I think one guy said he was like, he was describing himself. He said, "So what do you do for a living?" He said, he told him what he did for a living. I don't think it was, not too much, too much money, anything like that. And he was like, "So describe yourself physically." He was like, "Yeah, I'm about, 5'9", about 270. He said, oh, what you mean? He said, well, two things, bro. You trying to get a woman like that, first of all, you overweight, and you're not making enough money, because this whole thing was like being realistic about your options as far as relationship goes. You know what I mean? You can't be, living in your mama's basement, and expect to go out there and get,
a nurse or a lawyer.
Yeah. You can't be that person. And he was just like, look, there are plenty of good people out here who, especially for the women, there are plenty of good men out here making $50,000 a year. Can you work with that? And the thing was that most women said, no, I want a man who's making $100,000 or better. And so he said, well, most men that make $100,000 or better probably want this type of woman. And you don't fit that category. So that's when it was all this uproar. And then he, sometimes he would get kind of nasty with him. Like when they talking, he'd be like, don't overtalk me. And he'll press that button. He'll get him off his show. He would definitely do that. So some of that stuff I didn't like. He could have probably still talked to him a little bit, but I think there was a lot of good entertainment. But as far as his point was about people, men and women being realistic about kind of what they want and figuring out, hey, look, if you've been single for X amount of years and you still have this person that that's on your mind that you want to attain, and trying to figure out why am I not getting that person, this may be some of the reasons why. So you just, like with all these people that do all this relationship guru stuff, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. Think about how it relates to your life, what you've been doing, and it really just a think piece. Like just think about like taking like what most people want to do is just take like a self-evaluation, right? Like because we have most people have this list of what they want in their mate and all this other stuff, but it's about being realistic and looking at yourself too. Look, are you on the level to even meet these people? Not even just to be with these people, just to meet these people. Are you going to the type of places where they are? Are you going to business professional meetings? Are you in that circle to be able to do those things? So a lot of that stuff, man. But I think that was his whole premise, and sometimes his delivery definitely wasn't good at times. But yeah,
and I think like I said, I believe that it was also a part of how he got his followers and his listeners. Because you come off nice and well, maybe if you come off like that, then it's like this so of course I believe a lot of it is to get their followers and to get their listeners to come back and listen every week and so forth. So again, never celebrate anyone passing, because we have family, we have friends, we have even including ourselves. So you definitely never want to do that. So again, condolences to his family on his passing. But like I said, we'll keep this story on the back page, because we once they release the autopsy, because they're even talking about the young lady who was with him when he passed, and they was even talking about her body type and etc. So there's a lot more. We're gonna wait till more come out about this whole situation, and then we'll even talk about that. We got a few things that we want to jump into, but let's get quick to Dave Chappelle. So we talked about the incident last week, and when Dave Chappelle team and even a couple of the entertainers who was there, old dude who would tackle Dave Chappelle, his arm was broken. I mean, in 10 different places, we want to say. However, California decided not to charge him with assault and with a deadly weapon. McKenna, what you think about it? Hey, Kim, how are you? We are all well. Hope you and your family as well.
So the state of California decided not to charge him with assault and a deadly weapon. I think there's more to that story that we haven't heard. There's always an additional piece that we didn't get to hear. But I imagine it's being handled in the background. And it'll be interesting to see if there's any more coverage that comes about, from the rest of the story. Is there another, follow-up article? Is there another commentary that happens? Are they going to interview anybody else that was there that witnessed the event? So it'll be interesting to see. Or is this something that'll just kind of fade out and, won't make any further headlines or news, and just be something that is on the comedy circuit now? Now comedians who are doing stand-up live, they have lots of material, from this incident that happened, to the Will Smith incident that happened. So I think that it will create opportunities for more jokes to be shared about that. But I really, really believe there's more to the story. And it just feels like a little sweeping under the rug for some reason, but we'll see what happens.
Well, Kim says there's more to the story. I think it was said that he was a part of the LGBTQ community. Okay.
Again, more to the story.
I mean, if you don't like what he said, and I remember they showed a clip after that happened, after he was beaten. They beat some sense into him. Dave Chappelle, when he came back on, he was like, I guess he was part of the LGBT. He even said it. So again, they're comedians. Whatever it takes to make you laugh. And there are things like what we do here at Let's Gripe. There are things that people want to say and they're afraid to say it. So somebody else gonna have to say it for you. Let us say it. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Facts.
So we're gonna keep up to that story and see exactly where this lead to. So I was reading online about maybe McKenna and Marcus, you guys could take this away. What is it? It was a big press conference yesterday in Atlanta. Come on, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all gonna fill us in because I need to some more of the story because I didn't understand it myself. Go on.
Okay, so I'm just going to share the part that I'm familiar with because this didn't make my radar. But apparently, Young Thug has been accused of being the leader of a gang called Young Slime or Young Slime Life Gang. And so they basically have him on all these charges, and it singles him out as the leader of the gang. And he's implicated in this organization to have influence over people who are committing crimes. And there are various allegations that have been tossed out there. And it does date back to something that happened in 2015, some murder that happened back in 2015. So, and then of course, social media, he's had some postings on social media that might collaborate or corroborate, these charges or this alleged charge of him, being part of this gang. Even to the point where he was observed having a conversation with somebody in jail and they threw up these gang signs and, they're thinking something is going to be handled. So press conference, I missed the press conference. And then there were people that were commentating about, his house being not raided, but, confiscated of evidence and how people were saying, well, didn't they know they were coming with the warrant? Where was the girlfriend or the BFF that was supposed to go in there and clean up everything before the law enforcement people got there? So there's been a lot of commentary that's going on about this story. So maybe I'll read up on it. We'll see. There'll be a movie made about it later, in about 5 years. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. Just very interesting. I don't think I've seen this while these rappers were at kind of the height of their career for RICO. Usually you just try to get them on like a murder charge of some sort. Just let it be at that. But like they try and do a whole RICO case against it, which is a lot different than how they normally operate. But the city of Atlanta and surrounding counties and cities have attributed a lot of violence to gang violence, and so. I think he's one of the most public ones, and I think they started with him to kind of let know, hey, look, for the other people, just so they can get this press conference to be like, hey, for y'all others, we coming after y'all too. So y'all need, y'all can continue doing what you're doing, but we coming, but just know we are. So I think all of this was more of a calculated move publicly. To say to other gang members or affiliate gang members or whatever, to say, look, hey, enough is enough. We coming after all y'all. So it's gonna be very interesting. I mean, I think they say they found like some weapons in his house, which this is Georgia. Everybody got weapons. Your mama, your grandma, your auntie probably got some. That's no big deal. But I don't know where he, as far as his criminal record is, if he's allowed to have weapons. I don't know any about that. I don't know that much about him, but they're definitely trying to tie murder charges and, of course, drug charges and all this other stuff to him and stuff like that. So all the things that they found in his house, from what I saw, were more along the lines to be able to stack charges. I think they found like some drugs with which the amount, they say if you get a certain amount, then it's the intent to sell. But he got money. So why wouldn't he stock up? It's a known fact. He said in a lot of his songs, he smokes this. You know what I mean? So that's not necessarily. I mean, I guess it's criminal activity, but that's not.
So probably that charge may get dropped because.
Yeah, he just probably gonna say it's mine. Right. There's no intent to sell it.
In the RICO charge, I mean, I imagine that will be, his lawyer will probably plead that down. Some of the charges were theft by receiving stolen property, like he had a stolen gun, terroristic threats. He told somebody he was going to shoot him in the face with a gun when they approached him at the perimeter mall. He has some methamphetamines, like you mentioned, some drugs in the house. some hydrocodone, some marijuana, and then they said that he participates in some illegal street gang activity. So, these are individual lists of charges. I'm sure that, his legal team, will come back and address that. And then, of course, they're using some of the lyrics in his song as evidence against him. But, music is an imitation of life, but it'll be interesting to see how that piece plays out. So Kimberly,
Kim says that they've been under surveillance for 5 years or so.
Okay.
So they probably had feds. They probably had the feds on that.
Mm-hmm.
DEA. They probably had the big boys on that one.
What it does do is it sends a message, like MG was saying, that it sends a message to our rap community and our young community that says, listen, Atlanta is not playing with crime and criminals anymore. Like, this is not what we want Atlanta to be known for. Street gangs and thugs and criminals and people out here street racing and pushing drugs and, ushering off terroristic threats and saying that they can handle things a certain kind of way. That's not what this modern Atlanta wants to be known for. And even with the shift of hip hop, hip hop has been in Atlanta since I can remember. And it's not that we don't want hip hop in Atlanta. We just don't want the unsavory side of hip hop to be in Atlanta. People in the Lenox Mall area, people in the Buckhead area, those people are very concerned about the safety, and what Atlanta looks like, even to the place where they want to incorporate and become their own township and their own cities. And that says a lot. That says, I don't want to be known as Atlanta. I want to be known as Sandy Springs, or I want to be known as, South Fulton, or I want to be known as Buckhead Community. I don't want to be known as Atlanta because Welcome to the A has a connotation to it. And and then even with the new police chief in Atlanta and the new mayor in Atlanta, there are eyes on Atlanta nationally and locally, and with the governor's race coming up around the curve. So people are watching Atlanta. And so there are probably other investigations that are going on that will come to light in a year or so, because the spotlight is here. And there are a lot of businesses that bring a lot of money to Atlanta. And so, everybody has somebody to answer to. And I think this is just an example of, we are doing something about the crime in Atlanta, and here's our evidence that we're doing something about it. Look at our case.
Exactly. You're exactly right, McKenna. I didn't even think about that part, but you're exactly right about, we do know the uptick of crime in the Lenox Mall area, and Buckhead want to succeed from the city of Atlanta and become their own city or whatnot. And so it's definitely a lot riding on a lot of these criminal activities in general. And the city of Atlanta has to show, hey, look, we're serious about this, So if it's gang activity, if people are robbing to be initiated in gangs, or that's part of your gang activity or whatever you do, then the Fulton County is saying, hey, look, we coming for you. So, be on your P's and Q's about everything. But that's definitely a very important point, McKenna. Definitely.
But the thing is that you are in the industry, the entertainment industry. You can make money in all kind of ways, writing music, producing, being an executive. You can make money in all kind of ways in that industry. And at the same time, you want to be a whole mafia? You black. You can't do it. I mean, it comes right back down to the skin color.
It's not just that you're black. It's just that, are you not more than the lyrics in your song? Because, we'll go back to Will Smith real quick. When Will Smith came out and he was doing clean rap, people laughed at him and they didn't take him serious. They didn't give him street cred. He didn't really cuss in his rap. He didn't really talk about anything super serious. He made some real fun and feel good music. And he found other ways to make money. He enjoyed music. That was part of his passion. But he found a way to make music that didn't show him in a light of being a thug or being a gangbanger or, And so it's okay not to be a thug and be a rapper. Or is it
Exactly.
not? Or is it not? You know, are we so sold into this culture of I have to show how hard I am, how much weight I have, how many kilos and grams, how much money, how many cars, how many women I have? Is this all it is? Or can we mature from that? Or once we get into this game, this music industry game, can we legitimately say, hey, I want to save us some time because I want to get y'all off these streets. You know, this is what we did. This was a means to an end. You know, let's reach back and say, okay, let's get off these streets and find legitimate ways to make money. I'm going to send you to school. I mean, there are people who have people in their camp that they did this, that they said, okay, you're about to go to college so that you can be my financial accountant. You're about to do this because we have to get off these streets and find legitimate ways to flip this money and get off these streets. And so who are our seasoned industry persons that are out here mentoring our young thugs? You know, and is it their responsibility to do so? And are they doing it?
Well, I think it has to be twofold, right? So when you're coming up in that environment, the people you trust and the people you talk to on a daily basis are the people that are in your neighborhood, your communities, and probably are up to the same things that you're up to. And probably even a bigger influence of, hey, look, you know, we're about to go get blah, 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 or such and such saying blah, 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 you know. And one of the things that happens too is one of these young men come up in this rap industry is that everybody non-famous wants to test them. If you say you're from a certain neighborhood, then you may have to prove that, you know, that's your way of life. You know what I mean? That you're, of course, about that life. Because they're going to be haters everywhere. As the guy that Bankroll Fresh found out, the guy that was killed several years ago at the studio in West Midtown, was that he had people that he thought he knew that were street dudes, but really was like, nah, you ain't like that, you know what I mean, in our neighborhood. And so they had beef. He thought they was cool, but probably a lot of it stems from jealousy and stuff like that. So I think in order, not only just mentorship, they have to change their environment totally. And it's hard to, even as our athletes find out, it's hard to cut those people off who've been there for you through what you consider your worst times. You know what I mean? Growing up in those neighborhoods. So it's a transition, and a lot of rappers don't really transition, so to speak, until they get in their mid 30s or late 30s. You know what I mean? I remember Jeezy said something on a radio show one time. He said when dealing with his mom, I think his mom was real sick. I'm not sure if she passed away or not, so I don't want to get that information out. But he said that he spent so much of his life hating people and things, you know, because he had to have this hard shell about him, that he didn't spend enough time loving his mother. And he said that was one of his biggest regrets, because now, you know, he see other people, you know, whoever just out like, yeah, I'm out here with Mom Dukes, you know what I mean? You know, this is my lady, we out here taking on vacation and stuff. He said he has all this money, but he was never, you know, like that with his mom. He said that was one of the biggest things he regrets, because he spent his whole life trying to live in this hatred, you know, state because of his way of life, you know. So that's one of the things that's always stuck with me, that, you know, rappers, and you see like people like Snoop, you know, how he's evolved, how all the rappers have evolved, got families and kids and stuff like that. But it takes time for you to get out in that environment. It takes time for you to realize all of those friends that you once had when you was in these neighborhoods, eventually they're not going to see the same picture that you're seeing, so they can't come with you. And I did hear Young Thug say in an interview one time, and he may have been on his way to kind of getting it. He did say, he said beforehand, he said it was telling a story about a guy. He said, I think it was a guy that either shot him or shot at him. He said, I didn't know this guy, but we were just rivals from somewhere. And he said he couldn't figure out why we were shooting at each other. And he said, I can't remember how they met up or how they started talking, but he said once they started talking to each other, they figured out, look, there's no point in us trying to kill each other. For what? That makes sense. So maybe he's getting to that point of where, like, look, all the stuff kind of, it's so much money to be made out here for me doing this than me trying to, shoot people in guns and stuff like that. But at the same time, those people have that in them. Like, look, if you try them, which I'm sure people do on a daily basis, you know what I mean? Like, I know you spoke, was it you, McKenna, that spoke about him threatening some guy in the mall or something like that that came up to him? So stuff like that. I mean, that stuff is still in you. It's not gonna not be in you, And you try to do the best you can as your growth as a man, But I know it's definitely very difficult when you come from those environments to make that transition right away, no matter how much money they give you at first. You know what I mean? Because the more money they give you, the more people that from your neighborhood are going to want to be right there and still doing the same things. And so it takes time to make a transition. And it seems like both him and Gunna are kind of young guys. I think maybe early 30s or something like that. So they're still probably in that process of transitioning out of that lifestyle as much as possible. So,
but if you have an opportunity to make music and to get a record deal, get your music out there, whatever, that is the opportunity to take that opportunity to turn around, change your life, no matter what you were in before, and turn the negative into positive. And show someone, just like we have the ball players that comes as they would say the ghetto or the hood, that make it to the NBA and making hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, and they turn around. LeBron James is one. He opened a school, and helping these kids go to school, get a great education. So why wouldn't you do that? So I think a lot of these people, they watch too many of those Godfather movies, Al Pacino, again, you can't do it. Because your own folks gonna snitch on you too.
Oh, it's always a snitch.
So again, you can't do it.
I mean, it's like 88 people indicted, right? It wasn't just one, two.
No, it's only 26.
Oh, 26. Okay.
Only 26. And with that only 26, you're going to see how many of that 26 become state witness, get immunity, and all that stuff. Let's see how that go.
Well, in order for somebody to find out, like, oh, he been making these deals, or he said what he said about this, somebody's got to be telling them. They don't have, I'm quite sure they don't have video evidence of him making deals or saying these things or taps and stuff like that. My guess is they found someone who can corroborate some of the things. It's always one, and I don't understand why the criminal element feel like it's one of those where they feel like it's all good. Nobody really knows until people are put in those situations to where I'm a guy that's making maybe $1,000 a week while you making $60,000 a week. And they bringing me in talking about I'm about to do life, but if I give you up, because you ain't gonna take care of me, not for real, I'm low on the totem pole. if I give you up, I ain't got to see number 5 years, and then I'll be out back, be able to change my life or do whatever. So it's always enticing to people, man. When people don't understand, like when you get in that cage and they say, hey, look, we about to put all these years on it, it hit different than when you out in the street and everything all good. Y'all got money all in the videos and everything else, everything all good. They hit her, and then all of a sudden when it gets you in that cage, I can't do that time. So it's always one, always.
Well, we'll keep up with this story and see how this end up, because we know day to day, week to week, we'll have some new updates on this case. So we'll keep you updated on that one. But we can't forget about the story about Casey White and the escape convict and the sheriff. Was it a correction officer, something that helped him escape? They want to run Bonnie and Clyde in 2022.
This will be a Netflix movie, by the way. Yeah, this one might make it to Netflix.
Well, apparently she was about to retire. Like she had a couple more months to retire. She'd been with the state for 25 years. And so I guess when they got caught, she decided to take her own life. What I was thinking, see, because I'm one of them people that I be thinking about I be thinking about what were they thinking? What were their last moment? Why they was on run, what they was doing. So I'm hoping for her to give up her career, her life. I hope that she got that D like 5 times a day. Because it had to be for the D.
I mean, he was probably working on his stamina while incarcerated, out there on the yard, getting his calisthenics in. And so.
I mean, every time we stopped, we would have had to be, he would just have to be pleasing me for me to give up 25 years of a career and then end up taking my life.
I mean, the only thing that comes to mind is LL Cool J right now, doing it and doing it and doing it well. I mean, I'm just saying, like, something must, listen. Number 2, don't love me to death.
Don't love me. Right. So, it goes back. Now I'm sitting here thinking, well, did she kind of give him some while when he was locked up, like, snuck him in to do some laundry and, snuck and gave him some, like, I wouldn't mind waking up to this, and then, she fell in love and, she decided to help him escape.
Yeah, corrections officers fall in love with prisoners every day.
All the time. I mean, there are shows about this. I mean, there's a show called Love After Lockup. So she could have waited until he was no longer locked up and had a great time with this man. But you help him escape? Like, I just want to know, what was he saying to her to get her mind so open to help him escape and live this Bonnie and Clyde lifestyle? Like, what kind of conversations are we having where you can really get in my mind? Because you're a correctional officer, like, you go to training for this. This isn't something. There's probably recurrent training on this every year.
You McKenna hit the nail on the head, because I think about that. Because even when I think about, how they talk about the guy from the internet, the swindler who swindled these people out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm sitting here and I'm saying, what could these men tell these women to where they get them to believe that they are in love? This person loves them. They mean the world to this person. And is it just me and McKenna maybe that don't fall for the okie doke? Because even sometimes, I remember meeting folks and, and you talking to them on the phone for a couple of weeks and texting and talk about, I love you. You love me.
What's my last name? I mean, I'm just saying, like, you don't even know
my birthday. Not even on my last name. If you know my birthday now, you might could kind of soften me up to a little something. You talk about, girl, your birthday April. What? I'm like, okay. I might give him a little more text and, answering the phone or something.
Or even one, but I'll even say, I think I mentioned this before. I met this man and we exchanged numbers and we were, talking. And so eventually, after some time elapsed, he was like, okay, let's meet for lunch. And I was like, okay. So we go meet for lunch. And that particular day, I had my fingernails painted, I want to say like a dark blue or maybe a black color. And he was like, why are your fingernails a dark color? No, his first question was, do you always paint your fingernails a dark color? And I said, no. And then he said, well, how do you choose your colors? I said, whatever mood I'm in that particular day is what color I choose. And then he was like, well, I don't ever want to see you in a dark fingernail color polish again. So I didn't respond right away. I just left that there in the air. Didn't respond to that. I ordered me a drink. And then I came back to it. I said, it's very interesting that you have an opinion about what color nails I have. But I don't want you to think that, you would be able to make those decisions about what color fingernail polish I wear. I said, that's a little bit extra. And if that is too much for you, then this might be our first and only date. And I'm fine with that. And he was like, LaKendria, see, you're just too strong of a person. And we're talking about fingernail polish. Like, if you want to micromanage me over the color of my fingernails, what else are you going to try to control later on?
The way
Well,
you
look, now I'm
dress.
gonna get your little bit. Look, Marcus, let's get her little business. So, did you go out with him after that?
I did not. But we had a great time on that date. We laughed and we joked. And he was like, "You're serious about this now?" So I said, "So are you." I said, "But it's bigger than the color of the fingernail. It just shows me that you're very controlling. And if you're that controlling about this thing, what other things are you going to be controlling about?"
Right. Right.
Wow. See, that.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine about what's the appropriate dress for women, you know, if they're in relationships and stuff like that. And you know, I've always been of the mindset like, you know, sometimes women want to feel sexy and wear some tight stuff. I'm with it, because if I'm in a room with my lady, or if she's out somewhere or something like that, I have no problem. I like when guys be like, "Oh, she bad" or whatever else, because she coming home to me.
That mine right there. That mine.
Yeah.
Mine.
If we in a room somewhere and she walk into the bathroom and I see heads turn to look at her, I'm gonna sit back with a smile on my face just like this, because that's me. Look, do what you know. Get all the looks you want to. That's me. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? I like that, as a matter of fact. You know what I mean? But that's just what that reminded me of, McKenna. But sometimes these men are a little control. You can't wear this because you inviting dudes to be blah blah blah. Man, if your wife or girlfriend went out there with a bonnet on and some jogging pants and some mismatched socks and some whatever, it's gonna be a dude out there that's gonna try to holler at her.
Try to holler at her too.
All in Walmart looking like you just woke up. Talking about, hey Miss Lady.
Right.
Yes, and I like that better, because a guy would get my attention more when he try to holler at me when I have on my little sweats. Now, when I'm dolled up, y'all, and I know that I'm fine, and that's when you want to talk to me. You seen me a couple of hours ago with some sweats on. Oh, that's when you get for me. And I keep walking, because that's how I am, because it just show you that what you gravitated to. And that's a fine example. The night of the my birthday party, earlier the day, I had went out and I had not a bonnet, but I had on like a cap on my head, looked like a Rasta, right? And I had on some sweats, and I went into Kroger to pick up something, and the security guard was there, and he was talking to a man while I was going in, and when I came back out, never said hello to me, never said bye-bye. Later on that evening, fast forward now, I had to run into Kroger. I went in there to see if they had some helium. So at this time, my hair was down, and I had on a dress, long dress, but, you know, low cut, so you could just see the chest, you know, the little necklace on and everything, you know. I had on my mask. You know, how cute I was. That was me. And I mean, when he saw me, coming through the door, he was like, "Hello." And I smirked and I said hello, and I kept walking. I said, I bet you didn't realize that was me earlier. Or if you did, you didn't choose to speak to me then. I mean, when I went in and I came back out, he made sure he found his way to make eye contact with me and tell me to have a good day with a big smile on his face. I laughed my way to the car. I got in the car with my girlfriend. I said, and I told her the story. I said, it was something. He didn't pay me no mind this morning. Same person. I had on a mask. It wasn't like I didn't have on a mask. So ain't nothing changed. Just the hair was, you know, covered. Then this time, I said, honey, now him, he would have never got the time of the day, because he didn't look at me then. I was the same way. Only thing I was just a little more, you know, a little more cute, a little sexier. But I'm the same. I like when you holler at me when I'm me. Because you appreciate me. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, back to these people that is allowing these men on the internet to tell them and to gaslight them, telling them, oh, they love them. Oh, they want to spend the rest of their life with them. And women believe it.
I think we're going to have to continue this conversation next week, because there are several examples of this, and it makes for a good conversation about, you know, what is it about certain people that you allow them to manipulate you? You know, what is it about their charisma, their personality, their conversation, the energy, the vibe that they give you, that you're drawn and sucked in, and you allow them to manipulate you, and you don't stop. Like, okay, fool me once, okay, you got me. But there are some people that allow it to go on and on and on and on. And so maybe we can circle back and share about this next week.
You know what? We did start it late, but we did make up that starting late again. Thank you so much to our listeners, our supporters for tuning in. Tonya, men are visual people, LOL, but I feel you though. I mean, they only can get a conversation or a phone number from me if you accept me for when I'm just cool and comfortable. Because see, then you get to enjoy when I'm big, fine, and sexy. Like I said, we're gonna continue this conversation on next Wednesday. God granted that. But guys, please stop taking life for granted. Appreciate every day. Love on your friends and your family. Love on yourself. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So God grant us, we'll be back here next week, the same time, 7 to 8 at thepowerhouseradio.com. Thank you again, Lady D and Dr. J, for having us every Wednesday. Also for tuning in at 89.1 Victorious Radio FM. We certainly appreciate you guys taking time to support us in what we do. Again, if you want to hear a topic, we still got Peach Corner here. You can send us email to letsgripe@gmail.com. What's personal. You can text us and we can definitely get down to it. So don't forget to tune in next week because we're going to get on this. Why us women be falling for these gaslighting men? That's how we're going to start that show off next Wednesday. Until next week, Wednesday. Peace. Saying out. Telling you this is Let's Gripe.
All right, McKenna, this is Let's Gripe. You guys have a good rest of your week.
This is MG with Let's Gripe. Y'all have a great
on your phone. Let's Gripe, baby.
Drive home and you're feeling kind of tired. Hey, radio play the same thing every day, so you need a little switch in your life. Traffic got you jammed up every night. Tune in to Powerhouse. Wednesday 7 to 9, you need to check them out. I promise I ain't trying to hype, but one good listen tonight, it might change your life. So what's the name of the show? When you need something to just ride to on the go, or you might be home, so log on. You can even dial in on your phone. I promise that you're gonna love it. Just try it one time, it'll blow your mind. Now I'ma say it just one more time. Every Wednesday from 7 to 9.
Let's gripe. 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 Let's gripe.
You're in tune to the Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean.
Ooh, yeah, lady, now.